My previous awning was just fine when I lived in the desert, but when I had to set it up during a downpour here in the Pacific Northwest, I had it.
Man, I must have been in a hurry to leave last time. What a mess.
As soon as I got home, I shopped around and settled on the OPENROAD 180-degree awning. I couldn't find much independent information on it, but since it was relatively inexpensive, I went ahead and took a chance. It was on sale for $450, but it seems like it's always on sale, so don't feel rushed. Also, if you put it in your cart and leave, you might get another coupon, saving you probably another $50. All right, we got 12 longer ones, 12 shorter ones, and I'm going to assume 24 washers and nuts. Kit includes bolts for T-slot type roof racks, which my Prinsu is. All right, so 4 short ones go on each bracket, the 3 brackets, so that's 12. So that's these. So maybe these are for the roof rack? But I am a lazy person and I did not want to detach the crossbars in order to slide them in. So I went to Ace and bought some stainless carriage bolts that I could just drop into the holes in the top. So it looks like if I want to continue to use my camp lights, even though this awning has lights underneath it, I'm gonna have to mount the bracket thus. Plus I could push it back a little farther. It's not that high. There isn't much guidance as far as how to put it on your roof rack. It just says put it on your roof rack. So figuring out the spacing and how far up the front or the back you want it is entirely up to you. One thing I struggled with is that I have no crossbar in the front over my sunroof because I have a weird fear about being able to get out of it in an emergency. So I had to mount my awning pretty far back. I think the first bracket was probably 18 to 20 inches from the front.
Right? Yes. Okay. That should be easy enough. Like that. Wait, no. What? Oh, okay. So this is for height. So I don't think we're going to use the middle one. So I guess if you wanted to do it like that or like that, then you can... Okay, so if you did it the upside down way, then you can use the middle one, but we're going to do it this way. Like that. This is going to be fun getting all 4 on at the same time. Why didn't I bring the washers and nuts over here with me? So I need to measure my spans too, so I get these approximately where they're supposed to go. All right, so I've encountered one manufacturing flaw, and that is this, I forget what you call these things, these T-bolts, I think they're called. Anyway, it's got, so you can see right there on this edge, it's got a lip. So it will not slide on the track. So I have to grind that off. First I thought there was something wrong with the track. I was like, why can't I slide to the right? It's not that, it's this bolt. Since I'm not using these longer ones, I could sub one in, but then I'd have one long bolt. And even though it's on the back of a rack and I'll never see it, I'll know I can't. on the front because I don't have one over the sunroof. And that's what's getting me. It's not an ideal distribution, but I think it'll work. Yeah, I've had it with going out and measuring the span and coming in and then going out and measuring and coming in, and I want to get it right the first time so we're not wrestling with this beast. Just me and Aim's got one hand right now, so we gotta have it dialed in before we try. Alright, so I've got everything staged as best I can. Hopefully make this be as painless as possible. Just waiting on Ames to finish chit-chatting. We only got about 30 minutes of daylight. It's amazing this time of year how quickly it gets dark.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, needs to go way back.
Again.
About to. Okay. Are you on two? Not yet. I gotta come back, I think.
It turns out this was actually just the first attempt at getting up there. I had to loosen everything and readjust it 2 more times, but a couple of tips for this part.
I might have to. Connie to come up a little.
Start at the center bracket and loosely add a nut to the bolt at the farthest end of the bracket. Now check that your awning is straight and the right distance from the edge, and then you can add a nut to one at the far end of the back one and the far end of the front one. And just work your way in, adding a nut to each bolt, jumping around from bracket to bracket and fiddling along the way, making sure everything is on loosely until it's just right.
I'm not gonna hit a side. It's gonna hit. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm ready to rock.
These are lined up. Let me check the back.
Uh-oh, dropped the camera. Sorry, pee-poo. Sorry to pee-poo. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I just still don't. Okay, maybe once we're off, then I can drop it. Tedious.
Yeah. I can see why I've been kind of putting it.
Let me see if I can get some stuff on here to hold this.
They gotta all go down at the same time.
I'm not gonna tighten it.
Yeah.
Because I think we're gonna need to.
Don't worry if the ends of all of the bolts aren't sticking through the slots at the same time. Just make sure that they're aligned with the slots, because once you start tightening down that farthest one, it'll pull that bracket right down over the bolts. And then you can start going around and tightening things down. Luckily, I decided to do a test open of the awning before my trip, but I already ran into a problem, and I was concerned about that, is whether the zippers are gonna hit the lights. And it can sneak past the back one, but the front one, it totally gets caught. So I literally just moved my camp light forward about 3 inches, and hopefully that gives it enough leeway. If not, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Nothing like a very last minute driveway test, and I am glad I did. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, moving the light did not solve the problem. There is a metal arm right there, and the zipper just cannot squeeze through.
I had to just sort of leave the light loosely attached to the rack until so I could get the zipper around it. What I'll probably end up doing is just having one zipper on the left of the light and one on the right of the light, and resecuring my light.
What are you doing?
So if it was windy, here are the poles right here. And there are, like that. And then there's like stakes and ropes and stuff, but it is super calm right now, so I'm just gonna get this out. However, one thing I noticed, I'll show you. All right, so I've got it hooked up to the power bank. Let's see if you can see. And let's turn on the power. If you do have the leg up, it blocks some of your light. So go ahead and put that down. Now, part of the reason I got a 180 is because of the whole lift hatch thing. The other main reason was the size and weight of a 270, but I still get hatch interference with this because of the strap. It's a good way to garrote yourself on the way from getting a beer. And the hatch still hits this arm. Touches right there. Still good headroom. There. Also, I've now got the white light going on this side. I put my little lantern over there because it still wasn't quite enough for filming purposes. But let's see how we're doing on power for the lights. Of course, I have my little stick-on motion sensor lights, but I'm running the lights from this itty-bitty power bank. And we're at 89%. It was 98 when I started. And it's been, gosh, I don't know, probably almost probably 2 hours. So that's pretty good.
Profile, because I didn't know anything. She picked her photos and set her preferences for a potential match. She wanted someone self-sufficient, someone who had their own thing going.
Let's see where we're at. 73%. So not bad. I had those lights running outside for several hours. So just those LED strips just sip the electricity. There, that's off. So I have right here is the cord that goes out to the lights under the awning. And it fits perfectly in this little cubby. I'm getting a little rain coming between the awning and the door, which I was hoping to avoid. Not too bad though. Not too bad. All right, now that it's actually raining, a couple things I'm observing. First of all, this is pretty much a 270 if you got the hatch open. I mean, there's no seam, there's a little gap right there, but the water doesn't really come through. So as long as it's warm enough to keep your hatch open, which it is, it's like 50 degrees. The other thing is, because of the tilt, you can see it goes toward the vehicle, which at first I was not too keen on that, but actually it works because the runoff comes off here and onto the hood, which in turn it just goes off onto the ground instead of out here where you might be going in and out. So I'm okay with that. Again, a little bit of, it's not rain itself coming through, it's rain coming on the roof, and whatever's not captured in the gutter kind of trickles down, but it's not raining in between. So I got it set just far enough back, I think. Also, it came with a bag, which I did not open. It only fell on my head when I opened the case for the first time, but I can't see because it's very dark. But there are some, it feels like more poles, and they have ground spikes on them. So I'm not sure. I think there's two of them. They must go on the far ends for some reason. Maybe if you didn't want to strap to your vehicle or if it's excessively windy, I imagine they might go on the far ends. Well, it could go on that end, but I don't have room on the front end for mine. It's over the hood. So I am not really sure. I might have to actually look at the instructions. Ah, there is a ring right there. And right there. So those other poles must be for extra strength in windy conditions. And yeah, these poles are not required right now. The only reason I put them down is because they were blocking the lights last night, but they are not necessary in order to keep this thing standing. Not a ton of space this way. I don't remember what the span is. I want to say it's like 6 feet or something like that, but when the rain blows in, you really have to squish in. So small furniture only. Also, when you consider that you have to open the doors to get in and out, that kind of limits things a little bit. But it seems to be enough for just me and Gunther. You know, not a ton of activities out here. We're just sitting and eating. Wow, we just got a major sag right in the middle. Huh, what happened? Why is it sagging in the middle all of a sudden? Oh yeah, there's totally water up there. You can see it bulging as I'm pushing here. Yeah, there's total, oh shit. Wow, okay. I was tugging on this strap and it came undone. So don't do that. All right, I've just about got the awning put up and generally it's not too bad. But one thing that inevitably happens is these straps are two pieces. The straps that hold the fabric in are two pieces. There's a buckle in over here, and inevitably it gets pinched behind the arms and next to impossible to fish out of there unless you're 7 feet tall and have hands like a little baby. I don't know if there's a way to, before you start folding it up, to get those out of the way, but I haven't figured out what it is yet.
And yeah, definitely need a step stool. Even that is barely managing. I usually have to step also on the rock sliders or inside the doorway to get any sort of leverage. But nonetheless, I think it took about, I haven't had it zipped yet because it takes two hands. It takes about 5 minutes to get it tucked away. I still have a few little things to work out, but all in all, I am satisfied with my purchase. I think for the price, it is pretty good quality. I don't know how it's going to go long term, but for now, it's doing pretty all right in my opinion. And by the way, OPENROAD 4-wheel drive did not pay me for this. I used my own money. This is completely unsponsored, so there you have it.